Alright, 300 update. I got motor basically back together. I had to order a new O-ring for that little oil passage area. But I'll just show you, because I've seen a bunch of videos about people supposedly thinking the big red cam chain gear and camshaft itself are not bigger or more tougher looking. I can assure you that if you look, you can tell a major difference on the, this is stock on in my hand versus what's being held on the gear, and that's it's a major difference. It's about half the size, and you can just see the toughness in it. It's not even, that big red is just way more tough looking. Alright. I actually have the, this is the stock gear here itself too. You can see it's actually got the timing marks, unlike the actual big red, but it's definitely beefier. It actually feels heavier, the big red does, and it's probably double the size too. I put it up to this one, and well, give me a second, I'll show you side by side. Alright, so you can see it's double the actual length itself. You can see the stock actually looks a little bit, maybe a little bit thicker in a way, if you can see that up close. See if I can get the focus in. There you go. Stock looks about the same thickness wise, but you can see the big red is definitely bigger. That's the big red, and it actually does have kind of timing marks. It's just got the little lines on the back of the gear, but you can't really see those. There they are. There's the other one, but this one actually does not have an indention to show you which area points up, but basically when the cam's on there, these lobes on the actual camshaft itself will point down like that, and then what you'll do is this dot, or you know, whatever, since that one don't have one, it'll just be a whatever kind of thing, and that'll just basically mount to the top bolt hole while the lobes are down. Since I don't have one on here, then I'm just gonna have to just put it on there, and what I'll do, I'll just put one up that I just think looks the best. I'll probably put that one up, this side up. You can see it's got little lines. Yeah, there's that. So you can definitely see there's a definite like thickness in the gear itself wise. On the big red is definitely thicker, which is the one that it's got up right now. And they all seem to be in pretty good shape, and that, I'll tell you, that right there is very strong chain, just from me getting it in the four-wheeler on it and everything else. But give me a second, I'll get the camshaft and I'll actually hold them side by side so you can see how the difference in the actual cams themselves. Alright, so here we have them side by side. See if I can zip it. There you go. See it side by side, and you can definitely see that the big red is definitely much thicker. Let's just measure it here, and we can actually get a semi measuring tape accurate wise. Okay, so thickness at about the center base here is about, let's just put it like that. Thickness of stock, you can barely see, but it's about ½ inch ish, just to get a and this one's it's a little bit past 5/8, about almost 3/4. That's how thick it is. Now the length, I'm not sure about. Let's just set this up somewhere somehow. Can't really see that, but I'm just going to measure here from base to top. See if there's any noticeable difference just with the tape measure. Okay, so we really got about 1 3/8 inches on the stock lobe height. Yeah, it's definitely the big red's definitely a little bit bigger, it seems. I'm seeing about in between 1 3/8 and 1 1/2 inches. Not a, I get as accurate as I can here on this reading. The lobes themselves aren't, the height difference isn't too much different. Yeah, the stock maybe, the stock lobe itself maybe a little bit smaller. It's almost, I almost want to say maybe 1 3/8 inches, maybe barely, it's about 1 3/8 inches really averaging from what I could get. And this one seems like it's just a touch larger than 1 3/8 inches. Now when you get down to, you know, hundredths of an inch and thousandths of an inch and all that, then yeah, of course it's probably going to be much bigger. But strength wise, you can tell that the Big Red is just much thicker, and it just seems much more, what do you call it, tough than the actual stock itself. Let's just put them up side by side here so you can see the height difference. There is a height difference you can definitely see. And I have my nice workbench over here. I'm not even using it for anything. Put a background behind it, that way you can see the difference in height. Okay, so right off the bat, you can definitely see that the Big Red on the right is taller than the stock. And you can, just from this point of view, you can definitely get a different view of how much beefier the actual Big Red looks. So that's just so for anybody that says that you can't tell a difference in it, there's many differences, not just in the cam or the gear or the chain itself, just all of them combined. Everything is beefier with the Big Red cam versus the stock 300 cam. The gear is more beefier, the chain, just everything in general is beefier. I could see why you'd go to this too. So just for future reference, if y'all can get your hands on a Big Red cam, I would definitely go for it, because I actually bought the full wheeler with the chain actually scraping the inside of here, because it was not even that loose. It was loose enough to just sit there and rub the inside of the motor. So I got that dealt with now with getting this new chain and everything else. So it shouldn't really stretch. I actually got new tensioner guides or chain guides in there. Still got the stock tensioner. I just got to put a new seal on it, on the out bolt or whatever. These bolts are actually missing from the motor when I got it, so I replaced these bolts. I think it's this one right here. Let me see. No, it's this one right here on this side, this dowel pin hole. I fixed that one. That one was actually, there's a bolt broke off in it and stripped, so I fixed that. There was actually a bolt, I think it was right on this one right here, was broke off, so I just got some vice grips and pulled it out. Everything's pretty much done. I also got the head completely rebuilt. Everything is lapped, new almost everything but the springs and the actual top part itself. But the keepers are new. I think most of them are anyway. I have a lot of new bolts on the actual head cover itself too. Just a few here and there that I ordered. So got these new ones too, because these are really oxidized on the old ones. But I got a lot of new stuff here. I'll clean these up real good. These actually came off really easily off the exhaust. But for my actual HMF exhaust that I don't think that y'all have seen yet, which I don't even know where I put it. There's so much stuff around here that needs to be put on. Okay. This is another thing that is much... Alright, here's the HMF. This is the full system. I just used the 300EX blacked out exhaust for just performance. But I got that tip on it. And I also have something I'm trying, which is the torque range modifier. I've heard that it helps a little bit get torque, get just a little more torque in the motor. But just this header, I want to show y'all just looking how much bigger it is than actual stock. You can probably just see it just by looking at it, how much more massive this header is. Let's see. Okay. We can use the good old trusty tape measure again if we need to. Okay. Just the inside diameter, which I'm going past this lip right here where it's the actual exhaust itself, not just the mounting surface. But the actual lip itself goes to about 7/8 of an inch. The actual inside of the exhaust. The new one, if I remember correctly, went about 1 3/4 inches, but I could be wrong. I haven't known in a while. Okay, so we'll do the same thing with this one. If you can see, there's just kind of a lip inside there. We'll measure the inside of that lip as well, which is about 1 3/4 inches, which this is about. It's about 1 3/8 inches. About 1 inch and. It's close. It's really close, but it's about 1 3/8 inches from lip to lip inside here. So it's got a good almost doubled size. So it's pretty good. But I also bought, which I might not even have it over here right now, but it's just all my extra ratchets. But I actually have a silencer. Yeah, here it is. Which I'm probably gonna put it on 300. So I'll probably just use a torque range modifier for the Recon and probably use a silencer for the 300. That wasn't the original. That wasn't the original thing, but this 300 is geared so low, and with possible portals getting on it, then it's just gonna be any bit of gas gonna be loud. It's just gonna be so high of RPM. So that's got to put that in perspective too. So I'm probably just gonna put the silencer on this one and call it. But everything is done. You can see I got everything back in. How it supposedly came out. See, this was already pretty much done when I got all this 54% gear reduction was done when I opened it up. I just put the new EBC dirt racer clutches in here. Also got the clutch springs in there. And then I have the Highlifter Outlaw clutch springs. Right there you can see they're purple instead of blue stock. Then I have some new clutches here because they were a little worn. Pretty much everything is brand new. Also, since I'm about to time it, I got me an Allen wrench right here, which it probably doesn't even have the size on it, but really just kind of find you one that fits in here tight. You can see, well, if I can get it to focus, right there, get it turned tight, and you just turn the inside of the motor till you get this T. It's got an actual arrow on it. Line up with that arrow, which it's not lined up because sitting here, it's kind of unmoved itself a little bit, but you line that up, which is top dead center. I checked it just by getting a little pick, and I stuck it inside the spark plug hole. And then you got to line up, like I said, we'll just use the stock one for demonstration purposes. These lines go basically just straight down like that, but you're going to turn this dot up basically. And this goes straight down, this dot will point straight up, and then the lobes of the cam will point down, and you just wrap your chain around and bolt everything up. And I'm actually going to use Loctite on my actual cam gear bolts themselves, holding it to the thing, because my buddy had his put in there, and he had them torqued down, and they actually came loose at one point in time somehow, and some destruction happened. But yeah, that's all I got left on the motor, really, just getting that, or the cover back on with and the timing, and then getting this cover back on, and then it'll be done.